To order. First thing is approval of October 2nd minutes.
I recommend we approve the October 2nd minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Next is, all those in favor?
Aye.
Additions to the agenda, I have two. One is the Northwest Council Governance meeting on, it was on the 11th of October. And second was tax refund.
That's on there, dear.
Is it on there? It is on there. Look at that.
Yes, that is.
All right, so we're down to one addition. Are there any other additions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll second that if that didn't happen.
Right, good. Public comments, any public comments? Public is coming to us by satellite, that's good. Next is 5-year capital plan. Originally I was gonna have Jim come in, but he has a wake to get ready for, so he is in front of his departed. So I did consult with him this week about filling in some of the blanks and updating our 5-year capital plan, which will be on the docket for November 16th at the annual town meeting. So what we do with this is every fall we present this to the town as an outlook of where we think certain things are. I have extra copies here. Copies. You can distribute the copies. It'll be good. We try to even things out. There are things that are not on here, like the bridge program, because we've bonded for that, so that it's no longer in the capital program. And there are other things the town's considering, but we don't really have a price on them yet, so it hasn't gotten into this level of
So we're leaving
discussion.
that one blank?
So, yeah, for the first year, so these are all different years.
Uh-huh.
So we've moved things up and added 2023, which sounds like a long way away, but it's not.
So which fiscal year? We're in 18-19 right now.
Right,
Yeah.
and so the first year would be 2019, 2020, which would be next year's budget.
Right.
So we have a pretty firm idea that these things are things that we'll be looking at. We do need to amend this because Smith Place appears on here and we've already,
It's got a 0 though.
well, it's got a 0, but Smith Place will be done, so that's no longer on our calendar as it's ready for traffic as we speak.
And we have, the two projects are ongoing.
Correct.
And we need to determine at some point, probably after they're done, how much we have left.
Yeah, we have somewhere around $300,000 left in the bridge bond that will need to be spent next year on redoing some things. So,
In the 18-19 fiscal year, or do you think maybe the 19-20 fiscal year?
probably the 1920 fiscal year, realistically.
So we can leave that one blank and be,
Right.
and be good with it.
Yes, because this doesn't include money that's already been appropriated for now. So, and again, we'll regroup after next year and figure out how we're dealing with other things like Lake Road, which appears in 2021, is probably the next big project that needs to happen as far as major bridge reconstruction.
What's the waterway?
It's the Hollenbeck River Brook under.
Just right down by 43.
Must be.
Yes,
Yeah,
right, it's a quarter mile from 43.
There's a
Looks
culvert
like
there.
just a,
So going down the 1920 line, we have 300,000 for road repairs, which we split half and half between sealing roads in generally the North Cornwall Hollow area. That will include Lake Road, Hot Boy Hill, Johnson Road, maybe Town Street, part of Town Street. Jim wants to pave a section of Yelping Hill Road and the north end of Town Street, which is both broken up. So that would be resurfacing in those in Cornwall Hollow area, and then do paving in that general area also. So that seemed to be a decent number for all the years, as much as we can project the price of oil. Next thing is Cornwall Consolidated School. We've historically put in $40,000, and that seems to work. And in the same way, we increased the amount for the fire department truck fund up to $80,000 a year or so ago, and we've increased the amount of town buildings. I hope to get a figure from Jim Terrell, who's doing a survey of town buildings for the next before November 16th, to see what somewhat of a real number would be, whether we should be putting $50,000 a year in or $100,000. It's not $1 million, but there is repair that needs to be done on quite a few buildings, so he hopes to get us a ballpark for the planning process and then get his report done by the end of this year. So we'll have that inventory when we go into the budget season. Truck replacements, we have truck 6 and truck 9, both of which are over 15 years old. Those are big highway trucks, and they have gotten a quote from the dealer that we bought our last truck from, and he felt that if we had 190,000, that would be a safe number for there, so we can actually reduce the $100,000 to $95,000.
Is that the replacement cost of a truck?
$190,000 for a large plow truck, including sander and plow and hydraulic.
Is that a new truck?
That's a new truck. That's
Wow.
a brand new truck.
International?
No, go with Freightliner seem to be doing
Oh, really?
well.
Oh.
Yes.
So the 190 figure that he's quoting, though, we're looking at least a year, maybe 2 years out.
Yeah. He thought that probably 180 would be good for this year. 190 would be safe for the following
Okay,
year.
okay,
Hasn't really-
we are talking a
Yeah.
year out.
Yep. So, and also it does not include any trade-in, which is marginal, but something. And we've kept another truck, so we'll probably send our oldest truck down the road, so we have a spare. Keep a spare.
The spare being 6.
Truck 6, right. So that's sort of how things are going, as far as we can tell. The only thing that shows up usually would be the revaluation, which we are doing in-house, and so we have $30,000 in 21-22 for reval. And that's sort of where we're at. I mean, there are other big issues facing the town, like the sewer septic thing, broadband and things, but those don't have real firm cost or town approvals attached to them at this point, so they're not on here.
Are both of those liable for bonding?
Could be,
You know, because, yeah.
Almost have to be.
Instead of sticking them in here, yeah.
right. Almost have to be, because they're so big.
What about leaving the truck at 100,000 for this year,
Yeah,
for 1920, giving us some wiggle room
Yeah.
for 2021? We could drop it to 90. It's possible oiling's going to end up at 310,
right.
or oiling and paving will end up a little higher than we anticipate.
So you don't want to change this? Keep it the same?
Yeah, I would.
Okay,
We're talking about $5,000 difference, and it gives us a little wiggle room in the truck. The truck comes in at 192. I mean, we'd be okay with 190, but maybe by a year and a half from now, when we're buying it, something will You know,
Okay.
A quote for a year and a half out is tough to
Yeah,
forecast. I mean, next year at this time, we'll have a much better idea what the truck's gonna actually cost.
all right,
Is that,
that's fine, I don't, it's not a big deal. So you wanna then just, let's see, so does anything else stand out when you look at this?
well, the town buildings, that's the only one.
Right, that's soft number.
I mean, that may have to go up.
Right.
We're also trying to keep the capital costs here at a certain price too per year.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole point, is to even out those numbers.
So my question going to 2019-20, the two lines, the truck fund of 80,000,
Right.
and then the truck replacement fund of 100.
Yep,
They're separate?
they're
not-
separate, one's the fire department and one's the highway.
Ah, okay.
So we have to put some in each account. And the fire
I
department at
see.
some
Fire
point is going to
department, okay.
revisit their truck needs as far as what do we need for the current situations we have.
What's the next one up?
3.0, which is a big pumper. It's sort of interesting what's happened now because the price of trucks has gone up so much and they've gotten more electronic, less reliable, that Falls Village, you'll be interested to hear, just bought a 1989 tanker from Sandy Hook for $35,000, and so that's going to be their tanker. Morris refurbished a 1980 something Mack truck for one of their pumpers, and instead of buying a new one. So I mean, you're talking $400,000
Right.
difference.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to sort of start looking at that as far as getting
And
longer
you
period.
get reliability.
Right,
know,
something
in
you
the
know,
end,
as
yeah.
long as systems work, and you basically remotor them, refurbish them for 50,000 and get another 10 years or something out of them, as opposed to getting rid of them early if
Yeah.
because they don't accumulate a whole lot of hours. So anyway, so those are all in play, but again, this is just a plan, and it's good not to be caught short with your planning, I guess. So, any other thoughts on this? We don't really have to finalize this until, because this will be considered on November 16th. We have a meeting on, I believe it's election night. It's November 6th. So, isn't that right?
I believe you're right.
Are you gonna be able to be in here?
No, I think we'll be at the library.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate us going very long that night, but we'll need
That's
to sign
absolutely
off.
right, November 6th.
It may end
Yeah.
up being a special meeting because we're changing the location.
Well, I think
No.
Joyce was smart enough to
No,
post it.
no, it's not if you just changing a location, it's the date.
No, I think
it's
it's,
not so
special.
well, I
sure
think
about
we,
that.
Sure?
I think we knew that, and I think we posted it, but whatever it is,
Yeah.
we will sign off on the town meeting then and probably do some bills, but that'll be about it. So. Okay, so anyway, so we don't have to sign off on this until then, unless you want to. I mean, I don't think it's gonna change much. So, anyway, that might not be a bad thing. Why don't we adopt this tonight, just because we're not gonna get any new information in 2 weeks, that I can think of.
Do
You're comfortable with that?
we have to present this to the Board of
Board of
Finance?
Finance.
When
If
do
we
they-
adapt it tonight, then, yeah, I'm just thinking, are they gonna meet, how soon are they gonna meet before the town meeting? Might be useful too. Are they meeting this month?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
That's a good idea then.
right. Okay. So,
I move that we accept this
Right.
and forward it to the Department of Finance.
right.
Recommend. Yep.
Okay,
So is that a motion?
Yep. Yep.
I'll second that.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. Work on bridges is progressing. So the Smith Place Bridge is open, and the gravel bank bridge has its abutments poured, and Roger thinks that will be finished open in a couple of weeks. In a couple of weeks' time, probably finish it off.
They poured both abutments yesterday or today?
Yeah, they poured the second one today, so that should be in good shape. So again, we had some water issues down there in the heavy rains, but they dealt with that easily and stayed on schedule. So
The Smith Bridge it went very quickly,
yeah,
but the side rails look very low to me. Is it finished? Are they going to be higher?
apparently that's the standard height, which is 31 inches. Because I got a
Wow.
complaint.
It looks so low.
Somebody said they look low, but Roger said that's what the engineers called for, was 31-inch guardrails. Now you can make them higher if you want to make them higher, but apparently
I know it's not used that much. There are only
Right. He
4
said
houses
especially
up
with-
there, but
the fact it's low velocity, low traffic, that seemed to be what the standards called for. So that's the answer I was given as far as why they did look fair, but I was trying to think of how tall the other ones were. They were
I
much-
can't remember, but
Right.
it just looks low to me.
Taller, because, I mean,
No, they weren't that tall.
when I lean on the bridge down in the valley, that's about what it is.
So, anyway,
Yeah, they do look
That's-
low. I thought there
Right.
was one more to go myself.
right, yeah.
Uh,
So, apparently that's the engineering standard for a bridge of that size, so, as far as I know. So let's see, what else do we have? Material screener, Jim, was approving of our ability to, buy a material screener.
Well, not buy it, to
Or
house
to
it.
house it.
Here, yeah.
Yeah,
Is that mechanized?
yes, right, so we
Yeah.
can store it down at the gravel bank outside with a tarp. So that's owned by the Council of Governments, but it's right now housed in Torrington, and they don't use it as much as we do, so we'd be able to store it here.
After the bridge is completed.
Right.
Yeah, it is a number of, backing up just to number 2 for a second, the bridge work, we've done several bridges now, and in at least 2 of the cases, there's been incredible water
Issues.
issues
Yeah.
at the time that the footings are being
Right.
dug,
Yeah.
right at the beginning of the event, and
Yeah.
it is amazing how well that they end up dealing with moving the water out of the way, pumping the water out of the way,
Yeah.
keeping everything together, because you could see how that could be
Jeez, I
a
know.
big problem, just like chaos.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'll proceed with that. Did we vote on that? Let me do a little more research on the details of the material screener, but that seems to
Just
be,
Do we
their
have to-
insurance and
Yeah,
all
include
Yeah.
that in
for
that.
having it.
we'd have to put it on our insurance when it's not used by somebody else, so.
It
Something like
wouldn't,
that.
it wouldn't dramatically affect our
No, because
insurance.
it's down, there and we actually get a reduced rate if we house it when we use it. So we'd save several $1,000s a year by housing it.
And all we're really insuring if it's from vandals or something.
Right.
I would think.
Yep. Again, the town meeting call will wait us for our next meeting.
And the items on that are the 5-year plan,
5-year plan, the town report,
town report,
and discontinuing
Hart Hill.
Hart Hill.
What's the deal about discontinuing Hartville Road? Just
What?
so that we all understand.
It's now like 1,000 feet from Route 128 to its obvious endpoint, although it's not recorded in any record where it officially stops. But what we're proposing to do is to discontinue formally the far 130 feet so that the residents on the end, Betsy and Paul Smith, can build a garage onto their house. There's no public use for that, and if it helps them, and it may slightly increase the tax base, why not do it? Keeps us out of having to ever expand it. So anyway, that's what's on the rolls.
Okay.
So anyway, we'll get that organized. So then, the next is West Cornwall Sewer Septic Committee. Its next meeting is the 13th of November at 5 o'clock here at the town hall. So they had a meeting a couple weeks ago, if not last week, and made some progress on moving forward. And so they'll continue to meet as long as there's work to be done, and then eventually we'll present something to the town. Stay tuned.
Are they looking for another site for the,
They found an alternate site on the grounds of the Pink House, and they found alternate designs which could make the system used smaller and less expensive, because actually the coverage area will be less than the entire village because not everybody's interested in the project.
so people would get to opt out?
Yeah, so we may not go down all the side streets. So,
So the issues still being looked at are the site, the
Right.
design, and the cost.
right, we heard good news from USDA. The funding grants seem to be more generous than we first thought.
Yay.
So that's good. Depending on our congressional support, apparently makes some difference. So that's good. So the funding looks better. The technology looks smaller, less expensive. So now we're going to look at some other community systems and make sure we have the right scale and scope, the best deal for the town, if the town's going to consider it, and see how other towns have put systems in have done it, worked, and stuff. So anyway, I think we're going to take a road trip up to New York State sometime this month. I've called them up, they haven't called back, but anyway, we'll stay on that.
Do we sign this already, or do we need to
Yes,
sign
you
this?
are. With that nice black pen that I gave you here, please.
This is part of the town
You wanna
meeting
read
call.
it?
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
to,
I just
yeah,
saw it
this is
sitting
our
there
report.
Yeah.
So that's
Go ahead and
Use
use
this
this
pen.
pen, please. Yeah.
the,
Nicely.
nicely?
Yeah.
Our
Why?
best penmanship.
Okay. I'll take back my blue pen. Okay. We have tax refund of $66.48. So I make a motion that we grant these two tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector.
Second.
And there's the information. $66.48. I think we can handle that. Okay, any more discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, next is a report from the Council of Governments meeting on October 11th. It was interesting meeting, a couple different topics. A major theme that came up was millennials attracting young people to towns. No big surprise there. But what was interesting was in Burlington, the first selectman said that they're promoting mountain biking, and there's a whole young mountain biking community that lives in Burlington and uses their trails and outside quite a bit. So that's a quality of life improvement that he has plugged into and has found of interest to that group of people. Norfolk, they have a community foundation which has a business hub, meeting rooms for businesses, and has kept that going for small businesses. The Northwest Chamber of Commerce, Joanne Ryan, talked about that they have a new effort to, they call it 40 under 40, to publicize the activities of young business people in the area. So there was 3 or 4, and also Litchfield is doing, voting on doing some townhouses and single family housing projects coming up in the next month or so. So a bunch of different towns in the area are focusing on trying to attract and make towns more attractive to younger people. So those were common themes. Also, we heard from the Commissioner of Transportation, James Redeker, who was interesting, his presentation on where the Department of Transportation is at. And you may remember 3 or 4 months ago he came to the Council of Governments and said the Transportation Fund was running out of money. He praised the effort of the legislature, who diverted some money from new cars taxes to the Transportation Fund, and he said that has stabilized the Transportation Fund at its current level. They have reduced their workforce at DOT by 15%, so that he said it may mean that they will not have as many people out plowing snow in the wintertime, but at least it looks like it's not as dire as it was in the spring. So that was good news. And the last thing we did as a group was to approve the recommendation of Bob Carberry, who's the road foreman in Sharon, for the COG to buy a new a vacuum truck to clean out catch basins. He feels he has his new equipment that would work, and the COG does have money to buy joint equipment like the material screener, so they're pushing ahead with that catch basin cleaner, which would be available for us to use, and that would be housed in Sharon. So all good, equipment we use and we can get for a reduced rate through their public works equipment cooperative. So transportation, young people, all these issues that these towns are dealing with. So Priscilla was there. It's nice to have other people checking it out because there's quite a bit of things happening. Do do you have anything else to add of the meeting, or?
Yeah, Jocelyn is talking about agribusiness.
Right.
And this is affecting several of the towns. And they're having a meeting tomorrow night.
Right.
On that. Unfortunately, I'm taking a wonderful writing class at the library, so I can't make
Okay.
it. But if you go, I think that would be.
Yeah, I know other people are going. I can't go because I think there's a Board of Finance meeting, and I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be somewhere else
Yeah.
at the same time also, so.
But I thought that was fascinating, and certainly that farm in Morris that does so many weddings and
Right.
things was.
The South
Brought
Farms
up
was gonna be
again,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, so they've got a good list of presenters there, so I'm sure there are people from here going to hear other towns' experiences and how they've been able to make it work.
Good.
So hopefully that will push that forward. Anything else? Any other meetings? I think that's about it, other than public comments. Any public comments? Okay.
Since I missed it, could you just, was there anything news on the West Cornwall septic?
Other than its next meeting is on the 13th of November. It will be here instead of in the West Cornwall Library. It will be in the town hall. And I've been trying to get a hold of people in Hillsdale for a visit up there. What was interesting as a side light to my efforts to find out about septic was I went and looked at their town board meeting minutes to see what they're up to, and one of their big things they're working with is wiring their town for broadband, and they apparently have a commercial carrier who's coming in and wiring their town. So whether that, it sounds like it's just contracts to individuals. So again, New York and Massachusetts are different than Connecticut, who gets licensed to do what, but it might be worth, I mean, I'm definitely going to follow up on how they're doing that, because it's not that far away. It was a company I didn't recognize that was doing it, but we'll see. So anyway, a lot of these towns are looking at the same type of issues, and so we're going to take a
Until you
trip
find
up
out
there.
what they're actually,
doing, what's the deal.
I mean, maybe they're running down the equivalent of Route 7 or Route 4.
Yeah, or maybe
Or
they-
Route 128 or something, and,
Right, maybe they're bringing it to the main part of the village, who knows?
Right.
Whether they, because I mean, Hillsdale's even more spread out, or as spread out as we are.
right.
Less hills.
This is all up
Living
on
on-
poles, right?
Yes, this is not buried.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing. That's a,
Yeah, until you know, it's an interesting
Right.
thing that they're actually pursuing it, they're pursuing similar things
I
that
mean,
we are.
they're doing it.
And
Right.
what are they gonna do? What is the cost? Who's doing it? What's
Right.
all the, what's
Yeah.
the spiel on?
The
on-
state may be supporting some of that in New York. Who
Sure,
knows,
I mean,
yeah.
it's a
Right.
whole
Yeah.
different thing.
'Cause I know some of the farms in places are having, really need that quicker internet in order to get their information
Sure.
stuff. So there is a rural build out effort.
Gordon, what's the status on the sale of the farm in
It's
the Lorch?
It's going, but I think they haven't worked out all the fine details yet, as far as I understand.
Are there any town issues that are?
No, the town isn't the holdup. It's just like, you can imagine a home inspection, a farm inspection is much broader with, especially an older farmhouse and barns and stuff, where it goes, and some of it goes back in time as far as the equipment and how much gets cleaned, how much gets put out, bringing things up to date. So I think they're still pushing ahead with it, but it's taking time.
I was just talking to Craig Miner, and he said that he had a bill which didn't pass, which was an effort to approve the innovative kinds of systems that we were looking at on the West Cornwall Septic Committee. Do you know how our other candidates for office feel about that legislation, since it was defeated in the legislature?
Yeah,
he said?
no, I haven't heard. I know that there is some movement to try to do different things. And I don't think, yeah, I'm not sure what the pushback would be, because it's up to the town sort of decide. I know when we went down to Saybrook, they found some of the innovative systems didn't hold up as well as some of the other systems. Some things work better than others. So there'd have to be some sort of track record on what systems we're talking about. Okay, anything else? Okay, so we're on to bill payment, bank reconciliations.
Gordon, would you sign
I will
these two
sign.
things over my signature?
Okay,
That's it.
that's it. That's all.
That's it, that's the ball game.
Well,
Right.
it was 3-2. They